in Kenya so that the president can own parliament and, decree from the State House as a king. We are going to be talking about the lack of the rule of law, abductions and police in masks. We are going to be talking about unconstitutional conduct of the regime of William Ruto that has been enabled to a very large extent by a silent Washington and a silent outgoing ambassador. We want to write that letter very early on to set the tone, to put zake back on the wall, to make sure that the pressure we are putting on the Andani, we can put it now on Ruto directly with Washington. And this idea of bombarding with emails and bombarding X and so on is a very, very good issue. But we now will trail our guns on zake himself by targeting the new government of Donald Trump. So before they even take office, that they can get from Kenyans more than any other country. They can be bombarded by information in order that they can be able to see this man for what he was, a man that was being hidden by the Joe Biden administration, but a man who cannot be seen to be a leader in Africa. It was a mistake for him to be hosted in the White House. It was a mistake for him to sit in the Oval Office at the rescue desk. We must expose that was a poor judgment and a betrayal of the friendship of the Kenyan people and the American people. And we must ask Donald Trump in one voice as Kenyans to reverse US policy and to expose this man. I think if we do that very quickly on, zake will definitely be a one-term president and will not be able to go on before there. And that is something that we must all push and push very hard and not allow any breathing space at all. So the brutal way in which William Ruto dealt with the protest after June the 25th had begun to demoralize the young people and began to scare people from feeling that they could come out and air their grievances or be able to say the things that they want to say about their country. And this is an important point of revival. It's an important point that should be amplified and encouraged so that we go back to the constitutional guarantees of peaceful assembly and the rights that are bestowed on every Kenyan under the Bill of Rights, the right to freedom of expression, the right to assemble, the right to picket, and those rights are fundamental and unenviable. And it is very important that we don't let the government get into the habit of intimidation and believing that it is normal. And that is one of the things I'm very happy about Donald Trump, is because this issue of abduction has become normalized. Masked men and unmarked cars abducting people is becoming normal. If we allow that to be normal, we will downgrade ourselves to a point where the government now adds that into their tools of terror. We must resist that abduction label and technique and behavior. They say from a psychological point of view, behavior is caused. And therefore, to deal with behavior, you must deal with the reasons and the causes for behavior. We cannot allow Ruto to believe that he's a king and he is a man without the force of law. And therefore, the march is also a point of defiance. It was the best expressed during the civil rights movement of Dr. Martin Luther King, the idea of marching for freedom and marching for a cause. So I want to add my voice to all the students there who are going to be getting together from the Kenyatta University on the 17th, being a Sunday at 8 a.m., walking through to Uhuru Park for the country called Kenya in order to say that this is our country, the right to assemble and the right to picket. I think that is a major, major issue. I wanted to give a small brief what happened on the Andani matter as we proceed with the evening. A lot of Kenyans, and thank you to all Kenyans everywhere, I think we are going to win this war. I'm 100% sure we are going to win this war. On the 11th of November, Kenyans all over X space, many of them also appeared physically in the Milimani courts in order to hear the case against the Adani takeover of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. On the day just before the court was to begin, The judge sent a message to the court that he was not available and will be available on the 27th of November. I mean, it was an amazing shock that the judge on the 11th hour was all of a sudden not available. The other case that was to be heard the same day of the Law Society of Kenya by a empaneled bench of 3 judges was also moved to the 17th of December. And again, it was moved, very quickly without any hearing going on. And there seems to be a lot of pressure on these cases, so much pressure that people are trying to kick the can down the road. But what happened was that by the time we were leaving the court on the 11th of November, the conservatory orders that were being enjoyed by the LSK were still maintained up to the 17th of December. But today morning, I got a call, and I'm very excited to report to the country that the eminent lawyer, Fred Ngatia, representing the workers of the airport, the Kenya Aviation Workers Union, proceeded to the High Court as we had agreed in our strategy. I'd explained this to Maribox about 2 months ago. We have a wide strategy. And this morning, the High Court issued conservatory orders preserving the airport until the pending and determination of the case. And those orders were given, and I posted right away when we received those orders. And so the workers are part of my case, the Tony Gashoka case. The workers, the Kenya Airports Workers Union are part of the case, and we shall all be in the court on the 27th of November when we shall consolidate the cases that are now before the High Court, particularly this one of today, which has won conservatory orders and which is a case of which we are party. And the workers are party. And therefore, those orders given to the workers are orders given to Tony Gashoka. Those are orders that we share and enjoy with the workers. So I want to confirm, I want to announce, I want to celebrate with all of you here that I can tell you without an iota of a doubt, not relying on the LSK order, but relying on our own case, that we have conservatory orders and those orders are there and the airport is safe pending the hearing and determination of the case. And this is a very good indication because the workers having entered in the forefront of this thing are also like me as a petitioner fighting for the same thing. And that is a war that is too heavy for the Kenya Airports Authority to win against us. And I think I would rather be us than them. We are in a very good place and the orders are intact. RUTO has poisoned the spirituality and people have begun to kind of look at it negatively for no reason. So this idea of, I know a lot of your members have been fasting and have been preparing for that. It's quite a long walk. 17 kilometers is quite an endeavor from